What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review for 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, the Tell All No Limits Part 4. And yes, there is also a Part 5. I'm so over 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Um, the fact that this tell all is going to be 5 parts is so unnecessary. I feel like the scenes that took place in the mansion should not have happened. I did not really care for whatever was going on in the mansion because to me it was just a ploy by the producers to try to create more drama by putting these people together with these A-type personalities, with the alcohol that was flowing, knowing that certain people were not going to be getting along, whether it was with their own partners or with other people. And it was just a ploy to create more drama and to stretch out the tell all to 5 parts. I miss the days when a tell all was just 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, but a 5 part reunion. It to me is so unnecessary. And whatever was going on in the mansion, they talk about it on stage. So what was the point of having all of the mansion scenes? And I understand that the most dramatic moment was with Angela yelling at Michael on the stairs. And I know the producers feel like, that one scene was worth all of these mansion scenes. But it's just, I mean, to me, it was just all unnecessary. It was so unnecessary because we see that kind of interaction between Angela and Michael during the regular season. I just didn't see any point of filming in the mansion just to stretch out, just to add more scenes and add more episodes to stretch out this tell all into 5 parts. But let's get into it. So it starts off with everyone's at the mansion. So we are still in the hot tub. Rob and Sophie are still arguing back and forth about stuff that happened 2 years ago. They're arguing about whether or not Rob is actually attracted to Sophie. Sophie claims that Rob is not attracted to her because he likes a certain type of woman, and the type that she thinks that he's drawn to is not what she looks like at all. So they go back and forth about that. Rob is fighting for his life, trying to defend himself, saying that whatever happened 2 years ago, because Sophie accused him of reaching out to a particular woman on social media, and she thinks that he wanted to cheat on her with this particular woman. Rob was like, no, I was just trying to be friendly with her because the girl isn't even my type. So Sophie swears up and down that Rob had asked this woman to go out to lunch or like to go out on a date. And so she claims that she was going to show the receipts by playing the voicemail message of Rob asking this woman out on a date or something. I don't know. So they go back and forth with that. Um, Sophie says that he's really into like muscular type women. Rob says no, he's attracted to Sophie. He's attracted to her type, whatever that type is or whatever she is. That's what he's attracted to. And he is really into Sophie and nobody else. They also reveal that they only had sex one time in 2023. Okay, that was shocking to me because obviously when you see a couple that is, a good looking couple like Sophie and Rob, they're young, they're attractive, they seem to be like very sexual people because Sophie has an OnlyFans. Rob likes to look at adult content, morning, noon, and night. So they seem to be like very sexual people. You would wonder, like, you would think to yourself, yeah, these people seem like they would be very much attracted to each other and they'd be getting it on constantly. But no, nothing is happening. Their bed is cold as ice. They only had sex one time in 2023. Sophie barely lived with her husband after they got married. So I'm not understanding why they have not filed for divorce. And plus, they argue like cats and dogs. I don't understand why they're still together. I don't know what they're fighting for. These people should have gotten a divorce. So really, these people should never have never even gotten married. And I still remember the scene when Sophie first arrived in the United States at the airport. Rob proposed to her as soon as she landed. He proposed to her at the airport. And I always felt like her reaction to that proposal was a little bit lackluster. Like she really wasn't that excited to marry him. She did say yes, but I didn't think that, I felt like she just really wasn't that enthusiastic about it, or she really wasn't that much on board with them getting married so early on. And I think she had even mentioned several times during that season how, I think both of them had mentioned this, how they both felt like getting married within 90 days was extremely rushed for them, and that they both wanted more time before actually getting married, but of course they had a time limit. So anyway, they should never have even gotten married. But now that they did, and we've seen the challenges that they faced in their marriage, these two people really need to get a divorce. Jasmine says, okay, so after they revealed that they only had sex one time in 2023, Jasmine pipes in and says, well, that's more than me and Gino. Okay, that's like, why are y'all still married? Jasmine says that Gino has a certain type. Like whenever he looks at adult content, he only searches for a certain type where it features Japanese women who are really, really, really skinny with hardly any boobs. That's Gino's type, according to Jasmine. One thing about this tell all is that I feel like I have learned way too much than I care to know about these people's sex lives, their sexual proclivities, what they like and what they don't like. It's just too much. It was just way too much for me. It was just way too much. So once the hot tub session is over, everybody climbs out of the hot tub. But the fight between Rob and Sophie continues in the house. So everyone asks Sophie because she claimed that she had the receipts to prove that Rob was cheating on her or was attempting to cheat on her 2 years ago. She says she had a voice recording of him asking this woman out. So your girl Liz wasn't going to let her forget it because Liz kept on mentioning over and over again, hey, Sophie, where are these receipts? She kept on talking about these receipts all night long and I've been waiting for them. So she looks through her phone. Then she's like, oh, no, they're not in this phone. They were in my old phone. And okay, so she was on her old phone. But then she said that she had sent the recording to her mother. So she calls her mother, and wherever her mother was at, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. So her mom is like, what the hell are you doing calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning? This better be an emergency. But Sophie tells her mom, well, do you still have that recording of Rob asking, this girl out 2 years ago? The mom was like, hell no, I don't have no damn recording of Rob asking somebody out from 2 years ago. So she has no receipts. So Sophie, if you don't have the receipts, if you don't have the evidence to prove what you're saying or to back up what you're saying, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen. Okay, it didn't happen. He didn't ask anybody out 2 years ago. It didn't happen. You were like willing to die on these receipts and proving to the world that your husband was cheating on. It didn't happen. You don't have the receipts, or it didn't happen. This is the age of receipts. We're living in the age of evidence. We're living in the age where everything is documented, everything is recorded, nothing is deleted. They talk to us all the time that if you delete something on your phone, it's not really deleted. Even if you put it in the trash bin, it's still saved somewhere. It's on a cloud somewhere. Everything is saved somewhere. So if you don't have it, Sophie, it didn't happen. So moving on from there, Sophie tells Sophie tells the girls that Rob couldn't stop watching adult content for 3 days. She said that one of the stipulations that she had given Rob in order for them to work on their marriage was that she asked him to not watch adult films for 3 days. And she says he couldn't even do it for 3 days. So she looked in his search history and saw that he was still, searching, dirty movies, and that he was looking for like a particular type. He likes a specific type of film. Once again, we're delving into the world of TMI. She says that Rob is really into, I'm going to try to clean this up for my channel. I can't say exactly what she said, but he was looking for Latino women who are being pleasured by well-endowed African-American men. This is the type of content that Rob was looking for. Sophie talks about how also, because her whole point to the girls was that this man is just not sexually attracted to me. He doesn't want to be with me. I'm not his type. He's not attracted to me. He's seeking pleasure from somewhere else, not from me, and I'm his wife. So she also talked about how he had a toy or a device that was molded to his specific anatomy, and he had this device, I guess, shipped to her while she was still living in England. And so she took this device and she used it for its intended purposes and sent him a video of it. And she said that that was still not enough for him. Like he still wanted more. And I was thinking to myself, what exactly does that mean? I wish I would have heard Rob's side of the story of that particular anecdote that she shared with everybody. Because, I mean, maybe he saw that and, he was like, maybe, look, I don't want to get into the details of it, but like, if you sent your husband or your boyfriend or fiance, whatever he was at the time, you sent him a video of you using this device that he sent you. I mean, and he still wanted more. Like, did you not do enough? Or was it just a little tease where he actually wanted to see you to see more? He wanted you to do more with it. Like, what exactly? She makes it. I don't know. Let's just not talk about it. But whatever the situation was, she wants to make it look like he still wasn't satisfied to prove her point that this man is just not attracted to me. So everyone gets ready for bed. John, Patrick's brother, barges into Patrick and Thais's bedroom. He did knock, but I guess he didn't wait to hear the come in part. So he knocks and then he just barges in. And I guess Thais was getting dressed or something. So Thais and Patrick were like, "What the hell is your problem? Why are you just barging into our room like that?" But John was actually looking for a place to sleep. Moving on from there, it's the next day. It's time for the tell all. So everybody's driving to the set. On their way there, the girls are in one car. Some of the girls are in one car, and Sophie is talking about Rob and all their issues. And the girls tell Sophie, "Look, maybe you just need to get a divorce. This is just not going to work out." And Sophie agrees. She was like, "Yeah, I think y'all are right because it's just not working." When they get to the set, backstage, Gino tells Rob to fight for his marriage. And I'm like, "Gino, have you not been paying attention at all to what's been going on between Rob and Sophie? These two people do not need to be in a marriage together. Maybe they need to go back to dating. Maybe they need to go back to getting to know each other. Maybe they don't. They're better off just as friends or not having anything to do with each other at all. But the one thing that they don't need to do is to stay in this marriage because both of them are not really. I don't think neither one of them is mature enough to really work on this marriage. They're still caught up in a lot of petty stuff. Sophie is stuck in the past. Rob, I don't know exactly what Rob was doing wrong in this attempt to try to fix his marriage. I don't know if he's just not listening to her. Well, the one thing that he really did mess up on was when he had gotten flowers for her. This was during the season. He had gotten flowers for her because he was trying to woo her to come back home. And when she came to the apartment, she saw the flowers, which pricked her fingers because they had thorns on them. And what she thought was a love letter was actually a list of do's and don'ts that Rob had written for her. So, Rob, if that's your version of trying to fix your marriage, and you're doing it all wrong too. So yeah, these two people don't have the maturity or the capability of trying to fix anything between them. They need to get a divorce. So Kobe wants to know if Rob and Sophie had sex. Kobe's really interested in other people's sex lives. And like I said, with his wife constantly staying pregnant, you would think that Kobe is too busy with his own sex life to worry about anybody else's sex life. But he's constantly asking couples, "Did y'all have sex? Are y'all having sex? Did y'all sleep in the same bed?" So Jasmine and Ed have a conversation. Now, Jasmine cannot stand Ed. She's made it very, very clear that she does not like Ed. She finds him very icky. She can't stand him. But the two of them end up having a conversation backstage. And she tells him that, "Look, I still don't like you, but my dislike for you is a little bit less." So they're talking about, how Ed is really struggling with his breakup with Liz. And Jasmine acknowledges that it must have been very hard for Ed to see Liz with another man, especially like in the same proximity. And so they're having like this really heart to heart conversation. And Jasmine says, "You just need to kind of improve how you treat women and how you view women. And then I'm pretty sure you'll find somebody that you're meant to be with because everybody needs somebody and you don't have to be alone and you shouldn't be alone." And she says, "Because you don't want to die alone in your house and then have your pets end up feeding off of your corpse after your death." So they actually end up giving each other a hug, which I was really surprised about because the way Jasmine talked about Ed and how she was so disgusted by Ed, I was really surprised that she allowed him to hug her. What's up with Thais's dress? Okay, so Thais was, backstage getting ready, and Patrick was helping her. He was attempting to help her zip up her dress in the back, but it wouldn't zip up. So I'm like, did this dress never fit? Or did she, put on a couple of pounds since they've been at this tell-all? Because they ended up having to use safety pins up and down her dress where the zipper would have been because that zipper was not going anywhere. Moving on. Now it's showtime. Everybody's on stage, minus Angela and Michael. Sean tells everybody that Angela and Michael are going to be joining us later. They're not here now, they're just going to be joining us later. I'm pretty sure they're somewhere arguing. So Sophie did not want to sit on the same couch as Rob, so they had to get two separate chairs for them. They were still sitting side by side, but just not on the same couch. The question was to Rob and Sophie, did they sleep in the same bed? They didn't. They start arguing some more on stage. Then Sean very quickly directs her attention to Gino and Jasmine. So Sean asks Gino and Jasmine, did they sleep in the same bed? They said yes, they did, but nothing happened. And Jasmine talked about how she had put a barrier between her and Gino. I guess a barrier of pillows or something between her and Gino because she didn't want any touching between them. I'm just like, I'm very confused. Of course, if you're not in the mood or if you don't want to, you don't feel like you don't have to do anything. But the thing is that what I'm confused about is that Jasmine had said multiple times how she desperately wants to have sex with her husband, but Gino constantly refuses her. And, Gino's excuse is that because we fight all the time and you put me down all the time, so I'm not in the frame of mind to want to have sex with you. And, Jasmine talks about how she really wants to sleep with Gino and she wants to have sex with Gino. So now that Gino is in the mindset of being intimate with his wife, why does she not want to be intimate with him? I don't understand. I'm so confused. I have my own theory. My theory is that she's already found someone else and she doesn't want her new man to know. She doesn't want to have sex with Gino because she's committed to this new guy. That's my theory. I could be wrong. I probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I don't understand like why she complains so much about the lack of sex between them, and then when Gino's ready to have sex with her, she doesn't want to. And if she's just not in the mood, fine. But then, like, I mean, I wish she would have said there was a point in my life when I did really want to have sex with him, but he was refusing me. But I'm over it now. I no longer want to have sex with him. I mean, that would make more sense to me, but I don't know. So, while we're listening to Jasmine and Gino talk about their lack of a sex life, Rob and Sophie are whispering in the back. They're continuing their argument, and Sean got distracted. And so Sean was like, "What are y'all talking about over there?" And Rob says, "Well, my wife just told me that she's blocked me on all social media because, Sophie once again claims that she is done with Rob." So, okay, so we hear about that, and then Jasmine interjects and says, "Oh, by the way, Rob, Sophie told us this morning that she wants to divorce you." And I don't know if this was a shock to Rob because I'm thinking that Sophie seems like the kind of person who probably threatens him with divorce all the time, but just never follows through with it. To me, Sophie does that whole push and pull thing with Rob. She pulls him in, acting like she wants to work things out, then she pushes him away, then she pulls him in again, then she pushes him away, and he's just bouncing back and forth like a tennis ball, like just being controlled by her. And so I don't know if was this a shock to Rob that Sophie wants to divorce him? I don't know, but I felt like the way Jasmine said it, I felt like she was trying to be messy. I felt like she wasn't trying to be helpful. I think she was trying to be messy. The way she was like, "Oh, by the way, Rob, Sophie told us that she wants to divorce you." Moving on from there, Jasmine also says, before we move on from there, Jasmine also says how it's like a competition for them. Like they want to see which one can garner the most sympathy from everybody. And Rob was like, it's not a competition for me, but I think it's a competition for Sophie. I think Sophie does act like that, where she wants people to be more on her side than Rob's. um I think that because I think she even mentioned it to somebody previously. She says something like, "Oh, everybody's on his side, everybody's believing Rob." And it's like, girl, it doesn't even really matter whose side everybody is on. It doesn't matter what everybody thinks. So the only thing that matters is, are you and Rob happy in this situation that y'all have created for yourselves? Are you happy? Is he happy? Are y'all on the same page as far as what direction you want this marriage to go? It doesn't matter what everybody thinks. Okay, because all we can do is go by hearsay. Nobody was there to witness any of this stuff that went down between y'all 2 years ago or a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever it was. Nobody was there to witness whenever these issues were created. So, I mean, when you listen to Rob, he makes sense. When you listen to Sophie, sometimes she makes sense. It doesn't even matter what anybody thinks. What do you want to do with your life and your marriage? Moving on from there, let's talk about Lauren and Alexi. So they start off their segment by showing a clip of Lauren's surgery. It was pretty traumatic for some of the people on stage to watch the actual medical procedure or the surgical procedure of her body getting cut open. Jasmine, it was nothing to her. It was like probably when she was watching that, she's probably taking a walk down memory lane, for her because as much surgery as she's had. She's probably getting like surgery envy, watching Lauren's body get cut up. So Lauren is crying when she sees this clip. She starts crying, but she says it's tears of joy because she's really proud of herself for going through with it. This is something that she really wanted, and she accomplished this particular goal. So it was tears of joy. But she does acknowledge that yes, her family did suffer, and her family went through a lot, when she was in recovery. So Lauren is learning. She said that she's learning to accept her new body, but she wanted a little more va 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 voom, meaning that she was expecting, bigger boobs because they sucked out all the fat from her body and they injected it in her boobs, and she thought that her boobs would have been bigger. So she definitely wants to have bigger boobs. Sean asks her to get up and show like exactly what does she have done on her body. So Lauren stands up and she points out all the stuff that she had done. She got a 360 lipo and she had fat injected into her boobs. They ask Jasmine, would she get more surgery? Because, Jasmine is surgeried out. Okay. There's not a single square inch of Jasmine's body that hasn't been cut open. She's gotten her teeth done, her lips done. She's gotten her boobs done, her butt done. She's gotten her stomach done. So Jasmine has been fixed and rearranged from top to bottom, but she still wants more surgery. She said, yes, she still wants to get more surgery. She says she wants to get a smaller waist, and she wants to get that type of surgery where they literally break your ribs. I think they break your rib because they remove, I think, two of your ribs in order to cinch your waist. So you can really get that tiny waist effect. I think that's what she was talking about, where they, I think, literally remove your rib bones, like one or two of your rib bones one on each side, so they can cinch in your waist, and that's what she wants to do. They ask Gina. Oh, she also says she wants a bigger butt and she wants bigger boobs. She said that. She literally says she wants a bigger butt and bigger boobs. And I know everybody watching this was like, girl, what? It's like a what do they call it? Like a slippery slope. And I'm so worried that Lauren is going to go down that path because you will never be happy with what you look like. Lauren even mentions this, that because of her body dysmorphia, and her body dysmorphia, she says, will never go away, that she is still wanting more surgery. Like she says, she wants bigger boobs. And I don't think she's going to stop there. I don't think it will stop there. And I think maybe the reason why she wants to go back to work so bad so that they can pay for all these surgeries that she's planning on doing in the future. I don't know. So they talk about body dysmorphia. She said that it never goes away. But they didn't talk about therapy. She didn't talk about whether or not she was in therapy for her body dysmorphia. Her mom joins in remotely. Her mom is not a believer in elective surgery. So her mom is not supporting any future elective surgery that Lauren might want. The mom asks Lauren, knowing that there's not a guarantee in getting what you want, why would you want more surgery? So knowing that you will never be happy with how you look because you've got body dysmorphia, why do you want to get more surgery? And Lauren says, I'm not quite there with happiness yet. Okay, so she feels like if her body looks a certain way, she's going to achieve a certain level of happiness. At the same time, she admits that body dysmorphia doesn't go away. So instead of learning to accept her body, she's just going to keep on changing until she's happy. And that's how you end up looking like the way a lot of people are looking like now, completely unnatural. It's her body, it's her money. It has no effect on the rest of us. The only people affected are her husband, and her kids. That's it. It's got nothing to do with the rest of us. She can do whatever she wants with her body. But hey, you're on this show talking about it, and the show wants people to watch. And if we're going to watch, we're going to have our opinions. Lauren, I think what you need, sweetheart, is therapy to accept the things that you can't change instead of trying to change things that you can't accept. Alex says that we had agreed that this surgery was going to be a one-time thing, which I'm pretty sure, I think Lauren tells Alex whatever he wants to hear for her to get what she wants, because she knows that if she reneges on her promises, she's still going to get what she wants because he's still going to give in to her. Just like I feel like when they were talking about how Alex is like this alpha male who's very traditional, and he expects her to cook and clean and take care of the kids, and he's really not that crazy about her getting a job outside the home. I feel like when they first got married, I think, or when they first met, and early on in their relationship, I think that I could be wrong because I don't remember, I don't know if they put this on television or not, the very beginning of the relationship, so I could be wrong. But I feel like they must have had a conversation about their expectations once they got married. And I think that Alex probably had mentioned to her or told her that he probably wants a traditional wife. He wants a wife that's going to stay home and take care, especially when it came to them having kids. I think that that conversation was definitely had when she wanted it, when they decided to have children. I think Alex at that point definitely had told her, well, if we're going to have kids, this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you to stay home and take care of the kids. And I think that she went ahead and she promised him that that's how it was going to be because she really wanted to have babies. And now she's like, oh, now I want to be a career woman. He claims that after she got her surgery, she became more confident and now she wants to start working outside the home. Now, Alex did say that he's not opposed to her working or making money and working outside the home. He just doesn't want her to like be traveling for days on end for work, leaving him alone with the kids, for a long period of time. So they show the clip of Alex saying that her job was taking care of the babies and him. Of course, a couple of people on stage had a problem with that because it did sound very chauvinistic. Unless this is what they had agreed to. If they had agreed, like, hey, we're going to have a traditional marriage, I'm going to stay home and take care of the kids while you are the provider, and now she's reneging on that, then that's a problem. So that's where I'm kind of confused on, like, did they talk about this before getting married? Because I feel like when you're dating a man who is very traditional and expects his wife to stay home and take care of the kids and take care of him, I think that can be picked up on early on in the relationship. I don't think that a man who's like that is going to portray to be anything but that. Because I think a man who is like that will try to find a woman who falls in line with those beliefs, and is not going to pretend that he's okay with you working and being an independent woman and dropping off your kids at daycare if that's not what he really wants. I think traditional men are looking for traditional women, and I think that if they're not going to just come right out and say it, I think it's obvious that when you meet a traditional man, I think it's obvious that they're traditional, that they are expecting you to stay home. So I'm not understanding where things were lost in communication between Alex and Lauren. Unless Alex lied to her and portrayed to be something that he totally wasn't, and then he flipped the script on her, pretending that he was okay with a career woman, but ending up really wanting a traditional woman, which I guess it could be possible. Lauren agrees that Alex is chauvinistic. Alex says that he doesn't have a problem with her working. He just doesn't want her to be gone for days at a time. Lauren's mom alleges that Lauren does the majority of the housework. In a way, Lauren's mom was implying that a lot of the housework is put on Lauren. That, I felt like she was trying to say Alex is not the kind of husband who pitches in with the housework, only when it's absolutely necessary, like when Lauren was recovering from her surgery. She also says sometimes Lauren's mom also said that sometimes, the alpha male comes out in Alex, where I guess, she means he gets super duper controlling, domineering. And Lauren kind of reacted to that because she does agree that that Alex does get like that sometimes. And it's a problem because Lauren said when he is like that, when that alpha male comes out in him, the alpha female comes out in me. I'm not the kind of woman that's just going to be submissive and roll over and just do whatever he wants me to do. I speak up for myself. So I'm pretty sure those arguments are quite interesting between the two of them when they're both are trying to battle for power inside the home. So that's another thing. I'm wondering, like, did she know that he was like this before? Was she okay? I really feel like, y'all, and I could be wrong. I really feel like when they met, I think when they first met, because Lauren was traveling to Israel and she was part of I don't know, some type of a tour group that I think Alex was leading a tour group that she was a part of. And she saw him and she was attracted to him and she set her sights on him. And I think Lauren, when she first met him, when she first saw him, she was like, that's the man for me. I'm going to get that man. And she was going to do whatever it took to get him. So whatever he expected of her, she went along with it just to snag him, just to get him. If he told her, I want a traditional wife, okay, I'm traditional. If he told her, like whatever agreements that they were in. I think she was the one that was like, okay, whatever you want, that's me, I'm the girl for you. She portrayed herself to be what he was looking for just to get him, because she was very attracted to him. She was extremely attracted to this man, and he was like, yeah, okay, she's a cute girl, we're having a good time, we're vibing, the conversation's flowing, yeah, me and her can try to make it work. But I think with her, she set her sights on him, wanted to be with him, wanted this man desperately, and she was willing to portray herself as whatever he wanted her to be in order to get him. That's how I feel like it went down. So Laura now has a problem with him being so alpha. They're both very strong-willed. She's still, she's going to get her surgery. If she wants more surgery, she's going to get her surgery. She's going to get her surgery. To hell with whatever Alex says. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But y'all, the whole entire time I was watching Alex sitting on that couch, I felt like he was uncomfortable. I felt like the whole tell-all, Alex has been kind of like out of his element, which is weird because they're like one of the OGs of 90 Day Fiance. And they've been doing this for years. So I don't know why, to me, Alex came across as a little bit uncomfortable with this whole entire show, production, whatever you want to call it. But to me, Alex seemed really uncomfortable. So then they take a break. During the break, Angela and Michael arrive. So Michael says as soon as he shows up, as soon as they put the camera on him, Michael talks about how he really wants peace and he really wants his marriage to work. You want your marriage and you want peace from who? Not from this psychopath that you married, not from her. I know you're not talking about wanting peace with Angela and wanting your marriage to work with Angela. So I don't know who he was referring to, because there's nothing peaceful about Angela, and there's nothing about compromising and making a marriage work with Angela. So I don't know who he was talking about. Angela, when they sit down on the couch, she starts off with the tears because she's already trying to garner as much sympathy as possible. And I think a lot of people on stage were sympathetic with Angela. So she starts with the tears and she talks about how hard it's been for her. Kobe immediately goes in on Angela. And I understand that Kobe feels the need to speak up for Michael, because if Michael tries to speak up for himself, he suffers for it. I guess, he suffers for it. She's going to attack him. She's going to, turn into this monster, and she's going to go really hard on him if he tries to speak up for himself. So I know Kobe was trying to be a good friend to Michael by, standing up to Angela and trying to put Angela in her place, which Angela automatically shut Kobe down. But the thing is, sometimes you're doing more harm to the victim than you're helping, because Michael is in an abusive relationship. Everybody knows, that's the conclusion, that's a fact, that he is in a very abusive relationship. And when the friends of the victim try to stand up to the abuser, the only one that suffers is the victim. Okay, the only one that suffers is the victim. And the fact that Angela was embarrassed by her own private investigator, Michael's going to pay for that. He's going to end up paying for that. And I wonder if all of that happened at the tell-all led to him running away from home. Because Angela was highly embarrassed by her own private eye. Everybody on the internet was making fun of her, saying that you paid all this money, or you found this private investigator who got you nothing but butt kiss. He got you no information, no evidence of anything. You've been going on and on for years how Michael is scamming you, how Michael is cheating on you. And your own private investigator said none of that is happening. She was highly embarrassed. So I wonder if she took out all of that embarrassment, if she took it out all on Michael, and that's what made him run away from home. So they talk about the PI's very anticlimactic revelation of, nothing going on with Michael. And Angela says that she doesn't care. She says that, her private eye did not have enough time to do a thorough investigation on Michael because it was only 2 weeks. Yeah, girl, it was 2 weeks, but he had 5 people working for him. Okay, he had people all over the world digging into Michael's business. Okay, 2 weeks is more than enough time. This is the age of technology. It's not like they were waiting for information to be mailed to them. This is the age of technology where you can get whatever you're looking for, you get it in seconds. So it's not like 2 weeks is more than enough time to find something. Okay, maybe they couldn't have found everything if he was up to no good, but they could have found 1 or 2 items of evidence to prove what you've been saying for all these years, because you feel like you have the facts. You feel like for sure he was doing all these things, so you could have led your PI in the right direction to save some time. Something would have been found somewhere. But anyways, let's move on. So Jasmine says that what Angela needs to do at this time is, now that you've gotten the information that he's not cheating on you and that he's not scamming you, take this opportunity to start over with him, to start fresh with him. But Angela can't do that because she's been embarrassed. She's been embarrassed. So she's not going to want to start over and start fresh. She's going to take out her revenge on her husband. Moving on to Ashley and Manuel. They talk about Manuel learning English. Ashley, I guess, is frustrated with him about how he's not really putting in enough effort into learning English. Some people on stage told Ashley, well, you're enabling him because you're constantly translating for him. Stop translating for him, and it would probably motivate him to learn English. Ashley's sister and cousin come out. They talk about how there's this possibility that Manuel is hoarding money, because he's planning on leaving Ashley. If it gets too much for him, he wants to make sure he has enough money to go back home to Ecuador. So he's already planning his exit. Manuel admits that he is hoarding money, he is saving money, but he claims that he's collecting money. Like he's collecting coins, and I guess, I don't know, he's collecting money. It's not him hoarding it or creating a safety net for himself in case things doesn't work out between him and Ashley. It's just the fact that he loves money and he likes collecting money. I didn't understand. I think he's hoarding money. I think he's saving money. He's saving money for something, either to send back home, or he's saving money to make sure, for a rainy day in case he does have to leave Ashley. He's going to be okay on his own. That's what I think. Ashley complains about not knowing his family still. Like, girl, there's just no way. There's no way I could be with a man where he is, where I'm sending money to take care of his children, and I have yet to meet those kids. There's just no way. I don't know, Ashley, I don't know why you're putting up with this. If you still want to stay with him, okay, you don't want to divorce him, you still want to stay with him, but he doesn't want to introduce you to his children, stop sending the money. Stop sending the money. Tell him, I'm not going to send money just to shadows, to people that I don't know, that I've never met, that I've never seen. I'm not going to do that anymore. So then the conversation goes to Ashley not applying for Manuel's work permit. Ashley says she's been too damn busy. She's working out 4 hours a day. She's working. She's paying bills. She's got a lot going on. And Patrick and Kobe were like, no, And somebody else too. I think it was somebody else on stage too. They're like, no, Ashley, that's just a cop out. You're not applying for his work because you don't want to apply for his work permit. You don't want the man to work. I guess the implication that is that Ashley did not apply for Manuel's work permit because she really doesn't want him to work, because she really wants to control him. If he ends up getting a work permit and making his own money, she might lose control of him, and he might end up leaving her if he's able to sustain himself. So Kobe said you were more interested, no, not Kobe, Patrick said, Ashley, you were more interested in a post-nup than you were on working on a work permit for him. And they claim that a work permit is very easy, not easy, but it's very quick. It's very easy to do the application and turn it in. Ashley, like I said she was too busy. Then Ashley said, well, if he learned English, he could do it on his own. That's his work permit. So he needs to be able to do it on his own. There's a lot of problems between Manuel and Ashley. A lot of problems. But they're so busy having makeup sex and having angry sex that they don't talk about the real issues between them. Issues coming from the fact that she doesn't know his family, but she's sending money over there to him. He's hoarding money. She's giving him money to go do, whatever, and he ends up just keeping the money, saving it, putting it away. For what? And if you're doing that, why don't you tell her? Why don't you tell her, okay, you gave me, $100 last week to go shopping. I had, $20 left over, so I'm going to put that away. Not with every single tiny penny, that you have to report to her that you saved or whatever. But why is this a shock to her that he's been hoarding money or that he's been putting money away? Why was this the first that she's ever heard of it? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on between Ashley and Manuel. The whole marriage to me is very strange and bizarre. You give your husband money to go spend, and then he ends up keeping the change, I guess. And now it's an issue of, is he hoarding money? Is he collecting money? Is he saving money to plan his escape from you? There's a lot going on between Ashley and Manuel. I don't know what to say. Ashley said, okay, so her sister said, when it came to him, when it came to Manuel's work permit, the sister said, I've even given Manuel contacts to an organization that can help him with his immigration documents because Ashley's so busy. She doesn't have time. And Ashley didn't like that her sister was doing that because she said, it's our business. His immigration process is strictly between me and him. Nobody else has to involve themselves in this. Manuel starts to cry. He says that he's not able to work to be able to support his kids on his own because he doesn't have his work permit. And that's really affecting him. Okay. Ashley claims that, if he wants his damn work permit, he should go and apply for his damn work permit. The family says that Manuel was very hypocritical when he got on Ashley's case about her $100,000 student loan debt, but he has a $3,000 debt in Ecuador. Okay, fine, whatever. They're both in debt. Kobe and Patrick, they talk about how Ashley's priority is not to file his documents. That's not a priority for her. I don't know if they're trying, like I said, I don't know if they're trying to imply that Ashley is controlling Manuel, and if he gets his own, once he gets his work permit and once he gets his visa, she's gonna feel like she's losing control over him. I don't know what the issue is, but it seems to me that, I hate to say this because she's done so much for this man, but it kind of seems to me like maybe Ashley is like trying to control him. It kind of seems, because I don't understand why it's taking them so long when everybody talks about how quickly it is to apply for a work permit. Why doesn't he have one? Why wouldn't she want him to work to help out in their household? Because she complains how she does everything on her own. She pays all the bills. She's the only one working. Wouldn't that kind of motivate her to try to get his visa ASAP so that he can help financially in their household? I don't know. They ask Manuel if he is committed to making his marriage work. And he said, maybe. And they asked him that because he's constantly threatening to go back to Ecuador. So they're like, are you even committed to making this marriage work with Ashley? He's like, maybe. And that got everybody crazy. Everybody started jumping on Manuel because he said maybe. And that doesn't sound like a man that's really committed to staying in this marriage. I feel like maybe the first opportunity that Manuel gets, he's probably going to be out of there once he gets his legal status. Once he gets his visa, I think he's probably going to go back to Ecuador. I don't know. Not go back to Ecuador, but definitely leave Ashley. I think he's going to leave Ashley. So now we're at the end of the tell-all. The tell-all is over for the day because part 5 is coming next week, y'all. But everybody's backstage and they talk about, Americans filing or not filing the documents for their immigrant spouses, either to help their spouses become a little bit more independent or not help them. Now, Jasmine says that Gino purposely did not do her paperwork because he wanted to control her. He was, he's a jealous husband. He didn't want her to have too much freedom. And it was a way for him to control her by not filling out her paperwork. Gino denies it. Jasmine begins to massage Emily's legs again. She did this in the mansion when they first arrived on day 1. She was massaging her legs. I understand the woman is pregnant and her feet are probably hurting or swelling or whatever the hell. But where the hell is Kobe? Why isn't Kobe massaging her legs? They talk about Lauren and Alexi. So Sophie and Thais begin to talk about how fake Lauren and Alexi are. And so Thais's issue with Lauren is that on the what do you call it, Pillow Talk, Lauren had said some things that Thais took offense to. And I forgot what it was. They showed the clip of Lauren saying something about how Thais isn't very nice and how Lauren herself would rather hang out with John all day than hang out with Thais. And so Thais, with her sensitive self, she took offense to that. Like that's what Pillow Talk is about. I don't really want to defend Lauren, but that's what Pillow Talk is about. They talk crap about each other because they're trying to be funny. They're trying to keep the show entertaining. And so Lauren showed a preference to John over her. And, that's like, Thais, you don't do that to Thais. You don't show preference to John over her because she thinks that she's so much better than John. So she took offense to that, and she didn't like the fact that while she talked crap about her on Pillow Talk, Lauren was all up in her face, pretending to be nice and smiling all up in her face. But Thais, don't take it to heart the things that people say on Pillow Talk. You shouldn't take it that personally. It's just nonsense. It's just a show. People are just trying to be entertaining and funny. Oh God. So she took offense to that. And so Lauren and Alexi, they come in and they got their coats on, they got their suitcases with them, and they're like, okay, y'all, we're out of here. And Sophie was like, what do you mean y'all are out of here? Why are y'all leaving? And they're like, because we got kids, we got jobs to go back to, we got obligations. And so Sophie was like, well, we all have obligations. Emily's like 15 months pregnant and she's still here. She's about to drop this baby any minute now and she's here. So we're not understanding why you can't stay. And so Lauren was like, so what's really going on here? So she sits down and she's like, Sophie, I can give you 5 minutes of my time and you can tell me exactly what your real problem is. What's really going on? And that's where it ended. And that's my review, y'all. I'm just like so over the show. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Lauren and Alexi, do they act like they're better than everybody else? I think they kind of do. Not they. I think Lauren kind of feels like, because she's an OG, she's been around for forever. I think that Lauren kind of acts like she's a queen bee of 90 Day Fiance. So, yeah, I think she has a little bit of arrogance about her. I think that they should have stayed because they knew what the schedule was going in. They knew exactly what the schedule was. Um, so I think they should have stayed, but hey, I don't know. Alexi better go ahead and report to work because he's going to have a whole lot of surgeries to pay for in the future. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.